I'm Sylvanians, and I make videos about Sylvanian families, also known as Calico critters. And I haven't done a tier ranking in over a year, so I felt like doing one today. I'm coming up to my first wedding anniversary, so I thought it could be fun to rank all of the Sylvanian wedding sets over the years. As I was researching this, there have been quite a few. Obviously, it's mostly bride and groom figures, but there are other sets like bridesmaids and a reverend, also wedding chapels and other furniture pieces too. There's some very fancy looking brides with big wedding dresses, and even a couple of wedding cars as well. And lots of people have made custom outfits for the Sylvanians too, which is something I had for my own wedding cake toppers. So here are some of the pictures of those. But I think today in this tier ranking, I'm just going to focus on the bride and groom figures to make it a bit easier. For my tiers, as always, I'm using TierMaker, and this template is available on the website for everyone to use. So my top tier is Fairy Tale Day for the best sets and outfits that I like the most. Next down is Wedding Bells for the sets that are nice but maybe missing some extra details. Then I've called the next tier Bad Speech, so something wrong but it's not ruined the day and it's still fine. Then with my next tier for tax purposes, I was kind of thinking it was like functionally married but less sort of wedding vibes. And the bottom tier is Left at the Altar for the outfits that I like the least. And for the sets, I've just got them in a random order rather than chronologically, and there may be some bridal couples I've missed out, either because they're very similar to other ones or I just couldn't find good pictures. So I have 23 items, and as always these are just my opinions, and all Sylvanians are cute, but some are having to be bottom of the scale, and also it's great that we can have different thoughts about these sets and like different ones. So with all of that out the way, let's get on with the ranking. I'm going to start with what I think are the most classic wedding couple. These are Tabitha and Jonathan Butterglove, and they were released around 2011 or 2012. The Butterglove rabbits are like the periwinkles, but with a lovely bent ear mould, which I always think makes them look so friendly. Tabitha's dress isn't the most ornate, but it's pretty classic, and I think her bouquet is very bridal looking. She has gripping style hands, so she can actually hold the flowers too. Jonathan has a black and grey tuxedo, which is a bit boring, but the pink ribbon cummerbund and tie make it more fun, and I assume it's to match with Tabitha's flowers. These pair go along with a wedding cake set, where they're cheersing, and I also like these promo pictures showing the bridesmaids and red roof version of the wedding chapel too. Let's say wedding bells for these. Next are a chocolate rabbit pair, and these are the adult figures, so I think Terry and Fraser. I think they're technically called the Beautiful Wedding Pair set and started as an exclusive to the Japanese Sylvanian Families online store in 2015. They're shown with the blue roof church, but I believe the figures could only be obtained from the limited item selection available to Japanese fan club members. I like the groom's silver suit, which is a satiny fabric, and his little bow tie looks very smart too, but the wedding dress is the star of this for me. It's quite maximalist with the big bow on the front, and there's lots of lace detail in the skirt. I'm less of a fan of the net style veil, as there's prettier tulle ones, so maybe the second tier for these two. These are the latest kind of easily available wedding couple figures, and yet again they're the chocolate rabbit adults. This set is either called the Pink Lovely Wedding Pair or simply Bride and Groom. Although it's the same figures as before, the colours of their outfits make them different. Fraser has a champagne or light beige colour suit with a gold cummerbund and bow tie. He looks ready to party with the pop colour. And Terry is wearing an amazing pink dress. In the UK and US, wedding dresses are generally white or off-white, but obviously they can be any colour you want. The lace and beads along with the ribbon belt make this quite ornate, and the flutter sleeves are common in wedding dresses too. Her veil is shorter than ones in other sets, which means she doesn't have a lovely long train, but it is still a sweet addition. It would have been nice for these to have included a bouquet as well, but for the unique colours, these can go wedding bells too. Okay, these are going higher, but next are yet another chocolate rabbit pair, and we new to Japan last year, about the time of my wedding. Originally, these were exclusive to a Japanese telegram company called Vericard, and included this pop-up piece, but they are on the Japanese official store now, and very recently in the US Calico Critters official store as well, but with slight changes to be ribbon straps and a price of $50. These are called the Ivory Embroidery pair because of the lovely embroidered details on Terry's dress and Fraser's waistcoat. These are really pretty details and make the dress look very fancy on the tiers of fabric. The Japanese version has pearlesque beads to make the straps of the dress. Her veil is quite short but still cute, and it has lace at the edge which is very pretty. I also like that Frasier's outfit has different colours in with a dark teal bow tie. I think for the embroidery and level of detail, these are top tier for me, and I hope become available in the UK too. As well as adult figures, there are also baby figures. These were released in 2024 in Japan and are called the Lively Wedding Baby Pair Set. These are unusual because they're the first wedding set to feature figures from different families, with Creme Chocolate as the bride and Charlie Cottontail as the groom. With all the baby wedding sets, I just think of them as dressing up and obviously not actually getting married. But on these tiny figures, there's still so much detail. Charlie has a silky white suit with a shirt and baby blue bolo style tie. I think the jacket comes off, but the trousers and shirt are sewn together. And Creme's dress is blue to match his tie, with lots of lace, including a fully laced veil. The scale of that is something maybe slightly weird on something this small, but finer lace would make these more expensive. I could see someone having these on their wedding day as their something blue in the something old something new rhyme, but the white suit and blue isn't my personal favourite, so they can go in bad speech. Moving away from rabbits for a moment, these are the Dante cat couple. Technically they are Troy and Arabella, named after the High School Musical characters, but the figures are identical to the Keats cat family. I actually own these ones as they were one of the renewal gifts for the old collector club in the early 2000s. I appreciate the different figures, as you'll see there's a lot of rabbit couples, but I'm not the biggest fan of Troy's pale blue suit. Although it's a fun colour, in real life I just don't like it as the fabric feels kind of thin and cheap and the colour seems juvenile. I get that these are toys, but they can still be well dressed. Arabella's dress is more satiny than lacy, and I like her long veil and how it sits on her ears, but the elastic is stretched out in my veil, so it doesn't really fit her anymore. Let's say maybe tax purposes. There was a short amount of time where we got baby versions of the adult wedding couples, so with the Keats babies, I think their pale blue suit actually kind of works. They look cute in the box together, and the baby bride looks darling with the cap sleeves on her satin dress. There's some lace on both of their outfits, such as the little veil and the groom's tie, but at this size it's probably difficult to have it exactly like the adult ones. These can go in wedding bells, as I made the fabric less on the babies, and the Keats babies are less commonly used as well. These periwinkle milk rabbit babies are almost identical. I think the veil is slightly different, and the bow on her dress is slightly bigger than the Keats cat. I wouldn't want a big bow like this on my own wedding dress, but it's fun on a little baby. I could do the same tier. Actually, no, maybe downgrade as there's so many rabbits. The adult version of the milk rabbits are technically called the honeydews in the wedding couple. So these are Hugo and Hermione Honeydew rather than Periwinkle. In Japan, they went along with a church with priest and chorister, which was released in 2004, and also quite a few different party sets, including a table for the wedding cake with light-up candles. But in the UK, they came in the Flair Special Wedding Day set bundle from around 2006, which came with the figures and the blue roof wedding chapel. Hugo has the same shiny pale blue suit as Troy Dante in the Collector Club couple, so nothing special. I think Hermione's dress is also the same as Arabella's from that duo, and it's a shiny satin style with a tulle veil, but I do like Hermione's bouquet with the pink flowers. The style of it hanging down looks quite traditional. I'm not too sure how they attached it to her hands, but it does make for some great promo pictures. I think these can go second tier as well. So going back to the older sets now, for the millennium and 15th anniversary, Sylvanian Families Japan released quite a few costume pairs. I saw these at the exhibition in Tokyo, and one of these was a wedding pair. These are the Cottontail rabbits, which I think are the children figures Cromwell and Sorrel. Cromwell is in a rather vibrant blue suit with black lapels and a pink bow tie. I don't massively like this as the black looks rather stark next to the blue. His pink bow tie looks quite bright, and Sorrel's veil has a matching pink bow on top and lots of netting. Her dress feels quite dated to me now, but it is 26 years old. A special thing about this set is that she comes with gloves. They're more like mittens to fit Sylvanian hands, and I don't think many of the other bride figures have these, so definitely unique, but as I'm not a fan of the groom's suit, they can go in bad speech. These figures are from an older set called The Woodland Wedding, and it was released under Tomy in the UK in 1996. There's lots of pieces like a big arch with a heart shape, a white piano which plays Here Comes the Bride, and some other furniture and accessories. But focusing on the figures, there's the bride and groom and also their children as a bridesmaid and page boy. But the bride and groom are solitaire Siamese cats. The groom has a black suit with white lace shirt and a dark red bow. I think his shirt is a proper shirt, whereas some are just an upwards piece of lace. And And the bride wears a white lace dress. It's kind of classic for the time with a big bow in the front. She also has a massive veil that has a pink ribbon on top and comes with a plastic bouquet of flowers, which I think is super cute. I like the set that these come in, and the solitaires aren't common, but the bride and groom outfits don't really go together, and I'm just not that big of a fan, so they can go there too. But going back even further, the first wedding set in my anniversary collection book from Japan are these from 1987. They're ivory rabbits with the bent ear, so like the butter gloves I spoke about first. These two have a very pink theme. The groom has a pink satin suit, and in this photo it looks like he just has a lace shirt underneath on no backing fabric. The bride has a dress similar to some other sets I'll show, but I do like how the ribbon and lace form little fluted sleeves. She also has a big veil, though in this picture the front part looks a bit weird as it has an upside down bow and just a ball of netting at the front. They come in a special collector box that has gold foiling, and on the back it has a cute illustration of a Sylvanian church, and also a weird poem, maybe? I think this has been translated to English from Japanese as it doesn't quite make sense, and nuptial isn't a word. I think they meant nuptial, so kind of random. But in terms of the figures, tax purposes. These baby bride and groom feature chocolate rabbit babies, so creme, and an unknown boy baby with a brown nose. I don't know if it's meant to be babies or if it's a younger version of Fraser and Terry. Either way, the groom is wearing a navy suit with perhaps a pale blue shirt, and the bride is in white, of course, and I like to think that this is a shorter dress as it doesn't quite reach her feet. I do kind of like how big and ridiculous her veil looks, especially how poofy it is around the ears, and because it has a unique chocolate rabbit baby, this can go wedding bells. This is yet another chocolate rabbit bride and groom, but they actually came in a larger set with bridesmaids, a page boy and a vicar. These were released for the wedding of the then Prince William and Princess Kate Middleton, now the Prince and Princess of Wales, back in 2011. And these figures are canonically called William Balmoral and Catherine. I really like that this came with all the extra figures, especially the pretty shiny dresses on the bridesmaids. But otherwise the suit looks the same as the butterglove pair but missing the pink cummerbund. I guess if I'm judging these on the bride and groom alone, they are a bit boring and should go lower. Tax purposes. There are quite a lot of similar-ish wedding sets in the 80s and 90s, so I won't talk about them all here, but these are technically Louisa and Bobby Bright Eyes, though they are actually Babblebrook rabbits without the bent ear. They were originally released in 1987 in this version with a black suit, and also a later version with yellow dress details as part of the UK token scheme. But to not end up being too repetitive, I'm just going to focus on this 1992 pink version. These were exclusive to the UK Tomy Token Collector scheme, and the suit especially looks very bright bubblegum pink. I think his shirt is completely lace, with the effect of lace shirt cuffs too, so Bobby is definitely party ready. Louisa is just as ready with a lace dress too, and a kind of gaudy veil, which I mean in the best possible way. The dress is more of a simple style, basically a skirt with lace straps, so it's either a very plunging neckline or missing the top part. I do like that bows are in both of their outfits, and honestly, the colour scheme is so iconic, I'm putting them in the top. I think this pair is from 1987 under Tomy in the USA. These are known as the Sweetwater Bears, though they're evergreens in all but name. Kelsey on the left has a pale pink satin dress with rather subdued lace detail for the time. I quite like how it goes on the diagonal across her bodice and sleeves and has more of a dotted lace on the skirt. Her groom Morris is wearing a shiny cream suit which has burgundy details like the bow and cummerbund. I think he has a lace shirt on underneath as well, and these are known as the originals under Tomy. I think these benefit from the fact the evergreen bears are a bit larger, as it means the outfits can be more intricate, but I'm going to put them in bad speech as they could have done more and also given her a bouquet, but I quite like the dots. These raccoons are not American, but are named after a former American president and First Lady. These are George and Barbara Bush, named for George H.W. Bush, but were exclusive to the Sylvanian Families shop in London in the late 90s. There are quite a few name references in the UK range, so I don't think it's just a coincidence, though those Bushes left office after the 1992 US election. These are chestnut raccoons, which I've never really liked, and although the catalogue photo looks complete, I don't know if George is missing a ribbon in this picture to keep his jacket together, and I don't like how that looks, and Barbara doesn't have a veil, so sorry, left at the altar for these. These two are from 1993, and they are Tilly and Dylan Fellini the Green Cats, and were exclusively available in the UK, bundled with the Country Cottage at Argos in the Tommy range. They might have also been released elsewhere, as I have seen pictures with a different bride dress, but I've picked this pink one for the tier ranking. It's quite simple, especially compared to the modern figures with just a skirt and some lace straps. The lace isn't my favourite because it's quite a large scale rather than little and dainty, but I guess it looks more interesting than plain pink. She does also have a big veil too, which I like. I'm not entirely sure on what makes up Dylan's outfit, but it looks like a white lace shirt with black trousers and jacket. I do think these are a bit boring and not necessarily weddingy, and I wish Teddy's skirt was a bit bigger or poofier. The idea of having a newlywed's cottage is cute, but not enough for this ranking, so let's go low but not the lowest, tax purposes. This next pair are really interesting. These were actually part of a promotional set released in Japan in 2002 and came in this fancy looking box, which is pretty. They're bent ear cream rabbits, which I know as butter gloves, but are also the ivories. Outfit wise, I love how these look. It's very full on with all the white and pink, but I do like how over the top they are. The bride's veil with the flowers is so fun, along with the extra frill at the front. Her dress is a mixture of satin and lace with at least 3 layers on the skirt to make it more princess style. She also comes with a necklace and fabric flowers too, which just complete the whole look. And the groom looks great too in his shiny 3-piece suit, including the pink waistcoat with pearl buttons and a matching pink bow tie. He stands out amongst the other grooms who often just have the shirt, jacket and trousers with no waistcoat. And maybe it's because my husband wore a 3-piece suit too, but I think this looks more complete. So overall, I think these look really great, and even though I'll probably never own them, they can go in the top fairy tale tier too. From May 2006, Sylvanian Families Japan started a new Sylvanian Day series, releasing a new item every other month. The first of this series are these called Dream Wedding. They're cottontail rabbit children again, but slightly different to the 15th anniversary pair, as Cromwell has a navy suit rather than bright blue, and to contrast, he has a burgundy bow tie and pink cummerbund. Sorrel is very cute, holding a bouquet with pink plastic flowers, and a nice silky dress with netting layers on the side. Her net veil is also sweet, with a lace headband and not just plain elastic. I always thought the cottontail rabbits are lovely looking, and I think these are better outfits than the others. So yeah, they can go wedding bells above them. Another bride and groom from over 30 years ago were the Windwards. Like the Sweetwaters being evergreens, these are really just wildwood brown rabbits. Again, there seems to be a few different versions, like this catalogue page shows them in pink outfits, but I see more like the ones in the box where Hickory is wearing pink and Lily has yellow details. Those two shades do clash a bit for me. I think they should have put Hickory in yellow too to be a bit different. In some photos, Lily has a bouquet, but I don't think this was included in the actual set. Also, her veil looks either lumpy or just too big and sticking out a lot. I think there's too many things I would change, so left with the older two. Yeah, I prefer the ones in the rank above. Now back to baby duos. These are chiffon dogs known as the Dohertys. There's 2 designs for these with slightly different dresses and headdress options on the baby bride. That's actually one of my favourite parts, and it's different to most of the other sets. The headdress looks to be made of embroidery thread to look like a flower crown, and the lace veil is attached onto it. Her dress is also cute in both versions, especially at the small scale. Our groom is equally smart in a silky grey suit and pink tie, which matches with her headdress flowers for a cohesive colour scheme. So mainly for the headdresses, but also the matching, these can go fairy tale too. Now I've actually just added another pair last minute, and these are the Fox Wedding pair. I didn't know about these at first because they were released in 1986 as part of a giveaway with a chocolate brand in Japan. These were actually a special prize gift from a scratch card, and supposedly came with a cardboard church, but I couldn't find a picture of that unfortunately. These are the original Japanese slide-ale foxes and have similar outfits to the other wedding pairs from this time. The groom is in a shiny cream suit with burgundy bow tie and cummerbund. That looks really wide in this picture. I think the bride has a white and pink lace dress, but it's the same as a lot of the others with the top just made of lace. She also has a massive veil, and this one looks almost crimped at the front, but it does kind of seem plonked on the top of her head. I think these two can finish the tiers in bad speech. And yeah, I think that's the final tier ranking. I definitely seem to prefer the more modern ones to the 80s and 90s pairs, but there are exceptions. I think this is because while there are some different details, especially in dress colours of the older sets, there's not that much variation. For example, pink and the most recent ivy print is really as exciting as the grooms get. There's not much navy and no green suits, which from my experience is quite common in real life. And this is where I think the customs really shine. It felt unfair to include them in this tier ranking, but there are some I've seen online which I think look amazing. There are more detailed dresses and unique coloured suits and accessories, or can reflect cultural clothes, like these adorable ones where the groom is wearing a kilt. And of course, customs can be more representative for same-sex couples, or for those who don't fit the bride and groom aesthetic of Sylvanian sets. And of course, if I was including customs, I think my pair are top tier too. I used the holding hands version of William Cinnamon and Stella Chocolate, but redressed. My husband wore a purple suit, so I got that custom made by the beetle that dances on Etsy, and I used a sample piece of Liberty print fabric to match his actual tie. And then for the dress, I made that out of lace and ribbon to emulate my dress, which had flowers and leaf-style lace on the skirt, and it was big with a long train. And I loved having a little bit of Sylvania there on my wedding day. But yeah, that's my final tier ranking of the Sylvanian wedding couples, and also a bit more detail about mine. Thank you for watching this video. I'd love to know your thoughts on all these wedding couples, so let me know in the comments or do your own tier ranking with this template. And if you like Sylvanian Families content, then subscribe to my channel as I post videos every week about everything Sylvanian, including news and announcements, as well as unboxings and hauls.